Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first day of Vlogmas. So I'm super excited to be participating in this YouTube tradition this year. I really enjoyed watching a lot of crafters do it last year. So I was really excited to jump in. A couple of logistical things before we dive into what's going on today. I've talked about this in my podcast episodes, but my plan for Vlogmas is a little bit different than the traditional route, just because since it's my first time doing it, I wanted to make sure I built in some buffer zone for myself in case there's a day I can't film or something goes wrong, whatever. So today when I'm filming is actually Black Friday, so November 25th, the day after Thanksgiving in the US. So I am going to be releasing this video on December 1st. So I have kind of a 5-day delay built in, but that means if there's a day I can't film or I end up wanting to combine a couple days into one episode of Vlogmas, I've got those 5 days of wiggle room to give myself some room to work. And if I end up having extra days that I filmed, I'll just do kind of a Vlogmas wrap up on December 26th or something like that. But I just kind of wanted to take you guys along with me for my December activities, adventures, all that stuff. So today you might notice I've got kind of a funky background going on with this fascinating light fixture back here. But I am actually at a hotel because we traveled for Thanksgiving to visit my in-laws. So we made our way from the Milwaukee area down to the St. Louis, Missouri area to visit family for Thanksgiving yesterday, which was absolutely lovely. We had so much fun. But today the plan is to kind of help with some things at my in-laws' house and just kind of help them get settled because just like us, they also moved recently. But there might be some holiday movie watching going on. There might be some just chill time for the most part. So I thought it would be a great idea to get some of my holiday knitting projects started. And before I show you what I want to start today, I'll show you what I have been working on. So this shawl, I believe, has made a couple of podcast appearances on my channel, just because I've been working on it since August, September, somewhere like that. This has been my go-to project for anywhere where I just want a simple project where I don't have to look at the stitches while I'm working, because I can knit garter stitch or simple knit purl pattern knitting stitches without looking at it. So I generally save these projects for TV watching or being at a social gathering where I know that I'll be talking to people, but it kind of gives me something to do if I'm sitting for a long period of time. So this was the project I brought to work on in the car on the way here because it was about a 6-hour drive. So this little candy corn marker, which I picked just because it matches the yarn. I started this technically before Halloween season. But this marker is where I started when we got in the car on Wednesday. So I worked on it for the most of the car ride. I did fall asleep somewhere in there. And then kind of during downtime yesterday and this morning as well. So, oh, there's a siren outside or something. We'll just keep going. So I've gotten quite a bit done on it, but this project, once I'm back home, might kind of be put on hold for the rest of December, just because it's very much a fall colors shawl, so there's no rush to finish it right now. But it might just be the project that I keep in our TV room as my easy, simple garter stitch project. So it's just a triangle shawl with a yarn over increase on one edge, so it's a corner to side construction, and it'll just be a slightly asymmetrical triangle shawl. But I love how it's turning out. It's made with the Hobby Lobby hand-dyed yarn line, although I know that it's probably not actually hand-dyed because it's Hobby Lobby. And I believe the color I'm using is no longer available because it was clearanced out back in July, whenever Hobby Lobby did their big clearance sale. So This color is probably not available, but they do have lots of similar ones. I'm on my last of 3 skeins for this. I think that's all the information you need about this project. So for today, I have a couple projects planned for Vlogmas, and I actually took advantage of some Black Friday sales today to get patterns that I need. So I want to do both the Holiday Doodle Cowl and the Sitka Spruce Cowl by P&W Knitwear Designs. Those patterns are both 20% off today, so I went ahead and purchased them. But before I start on those, I really wanted to practice knitting in the magic loop method because I've never actually done it before, but it looks like the easiest way to work on a tube construction piece. So in order to practice that, I'm going to watch some tutorials on how to do magic loop, but I wanted to do just a really simple holiday striped scarf in these 2 colors. These are both yarns from Emma's Yarn. I have the label rolled up on the inside. I guess I could pull it out. I got these back in sometime over the summer, but the multicolored one, which I'll hold that right up close to the camera so that you can see it. It's got those like flecks of green and red in there. This is the Emma's Yarn Crazy Beautiful Color Simply Spectacular DK in the color Christmas Sprinkles. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 255 yards. And then the other coordinating color, which is this deep tealy green, is, gotta unroll it, Emma's Yarn Crazy Beautiful Color Drapey DK in the color Harbor. This is 70% superwash merino, 30% silk, 231 yards. So slightly different yarns here, but they're the same weight. And I thought that the colors just paired really well together. So I'm just going to do a tube construction stockinette stitch scarf, alternating like every 2 rows between the 2 colors. So it might be more of like a cowl instead of a full scarf, depending on how far my yardage gets me. I'm gonna do this on my US size 8 Prim knitting needles. I really like these because they have the like notched tips on them where it has that like little like light bulb kind of shape at the top. And I like that the steel cords don't have memory, so they always stay pretty straight. This was actually like tied and rolled up in my bag a few minutes ago and it looks totally fine. So I'm gonna watch some magic loop tutorials to get started on my scarf. I'm also planning on trying to graft the 2 ends together at the end, so I'll probably be watching tutorials for that as well. But I wanted to do this to set me up to be able to do the Holiday Doodle Cowl and the Sitka Spruce Cowl, because while I think you can do those on DPNs, I wanted to do them on magic loop, so I wanted to practice with a simple project first instead of a like very intense color work project, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and start knitting and working on stuff, and I'll keep adding clips throughout the day. Okay, so I figured out how to do the magic loop method pretty well. So I got a couple stripes in there and added a stitch marker so I can track my progress, but we're going to head out for the day. Alright, good morning. It is actually the next day, day one of Vlogmas, and I already had to like figure out a plan for the outro. Yesterday we spent a lot of time moving boxes and helping unpack, and then ended up kind of just watching some movies on the couch. In the previous clip you saw, we were watching a Hallmark movie. We probably only watched about 10 minutes of that because we started like partially through the movie, so we had no idea what was going on. I think it was called #Xmas. It had something to do with like Instagram followers as a plot point. I don't really know what it was. But we had a lovely dinner and then switched to watching Slumberland, but we watched the first half of it, realized we were all really tired, and cut it off at around 9 o'clock. So we still have an hour left of the movie that we'll maybe finish tonight. But I did want to show you how much knitting I got done. So some of this was done this morning. But here's my little stitch marker that I put in right before leaving the hotel yesterday. And I got, what is that, like definitely more than 6 inches, maybe like 8 inches of knitting done. I am not sure how I feel about the magic loop method yet. I do think it's definitely more transportable than double pointed needles. But as far as like the ease of doing it, I think I'm just not used to it yet. But right now it still feels like this is slower for me than just doing it on DPNs, but we'll see as I continue practicing. This is probably going to be my car project for tomorrow. So for the day that we drive back home on Sunday. So that's going to be it for day one of Vlogmas. I'm really excited for what I'm doing today for day 2. So I will see you in that video. Bye everyone.